Good morning, I'm Jim Ryan. Welcome to Good Day New York on this 4th of July holiday.
You know, we hear so much and see so much negative stories about what happens in the inner city, and then you meet a guy like Jamel Oeser-Sweat, one who between 7 and 10 just never went to school, was a drug lord's lookout, saw the guy getting shot right on the steps, right at the door of his apartment, had seen gunfire, seen his mom go through changes, seen his father die of cancer, his brothers Chris and Eric are going through their changes, and yet this guy has escaped and is now a student at NYU and also a Westinghouse Science winner. Welcome, Jamal. I am honored to meet you, brother. I really am. God bless you. How did you start out? I mean, what were the first experiences that you remember on the streets?
Like I remember moving into the Prince George because it was a somewhat chaotic environment. If anyone's like seen New Jack City and remembers the Carter, it was a little something like that. And I mean, I went from being a timid kid who never really went to school to being like thrown in a fish tank full of piranhas almost. So it was like, it was sink or swim.
Tell us about the gentleman who you approached about being a lookout and what happened to him.
Basically the way like I met him was he actually saw me do a couple of things and doing poetry. His son went to school, so one day I said something to him, and what he did was we would go on these long journeys through the city, have like no money. We were like walking all through the city. We'd come back, and you know, just he encouraged my poetry by saying, "Oh, say this to me." And when he did, when I said what I had to say to him, he would give us money or what have you, and we would go out and buy food and things like that. So
he was shot. He was shot right at your door.
Yes.
Wasn't he? Then you went into the Baruch houses. How did you handle the Baruch houses downtown? Because you went from the Bronx right to the Baruchs.
Yeah. It was okay. I mean, for us, it was like, oh, we have a like apartment, you know, riverfront view and everything. So like from where we were coming from, public housing was like a super step up, and that the location was so like wonderful.
Yes, and you didn't have to deal with those foot-long rats either.
Yeah.
I remember that one. You are mentioned, and your article, Jamal's Way Out, is in the Reader's Digest of July 1995. Folks, please pick up this issue. It is so inspiring for those young kids in the projects all over New York, whether it be Mariners Harbor in Staten Island, or the Cypress Hills or Red Hook, or the Pattersons and Marlboroughs in the Bronx, or the Johnson or King Towers in Manhattan. This article is so inspiring. You then met a gentleman named Dr. Batone from East Harlem, who started you on your way to science. Did you know you had an aptitude, a predisposition?
No, I didn't. I knew, like, at that time I was doing so much, like, you know, I was focused and I was going somewhere. I was definitely going to college, and by then, you know, I had all this raw energy and I was doing all these different things, and when I got into the laboratory, it was just like, boom, I just clicked and went on. It was instant.
Now, you won the award for discovering that there are organisms in loofahs, and you were able...
Pumices and...
Yeah, and that's how people get the diseases, huh?
Yeah, what happens is, like, with loofah sponges, the organisms naturally live there, so when you wet them, they kind of come out to play, and then what happens is, you know, in some patients, you can get really sick because if open cut or what have you, there's a port of entry.
And it begins to thrive. The organism thrives. You also found out you can kill them by putting them in bleach.
Yeah, it's a bleach solution, 1 part bleach to 9 parts water, so you would get a big bucket, put 9 cups of water, 1 cup of Clorox in there, you know, let the exfoliative, like loofah, pumice sit.
Now you are a 2-year, you're in your 2nd year, you're pre-med at NYU, brother. Go ahead. Doing very well. God bless you, man. What do you want to do?
I ultimately, hopefully, want to go for my MD, PhD. And, you know, they're really wonderful down at NYU. They're really, like,
well, God bless you, Jamel Oeser-Sweat. The best to you. I know you're going to do well.
Thank you.
Jim, a success story.
Absolutely.
I'm very happy.
Thank you very much.